Hi guys, hope all of you are doing well. This video is to demonstrate the implementation of code data in Xcode application to implement the persistency. And what is persistency? When you just after force scaling, when the app relaunches, the content which was already been entered by the user will persist again. This is the persistency and how the core data helps to make a persistent app. And here in the project creation time I have already checked use core data option. So by default core data model has been included in my project, and here the name of data model and my project name is same. And we can take a look of the data model. Here there is a single entity named country and two attributes are there. One is capital and another is name. Both of is of type string. You can add entity if you want by clicking this add button and add your attributes, relationship, etc. Here we have one view controller. All codes are in this section particularly, and I have one main storyboard, and in this storyboard we have only one view controller embedded in a navigation controller, and this application is due only show how the user has entered his data and will persist again. And here in my view controller there is a table view and two UI bar button item. This button is to add country, a country with its name and its name of capital, and this delete button is to make a batch delete request. This table view will reflect the changes, and here in my view controller I have import core data and created a country list type of ns manage object, and in my did load section here is my view will appear section, and here is the function which will be called after clicking on UI bar button add button, and this save function is called from this add name action. This save function is actually doing the saving execution to the core data, and this delete action are just doing the batch delete to the core data. And here is the extension of UI table view data source and UI table view delegate. So simple is that. Okay, just start. I've created country list array of ns manage object to store and populate the table view. And what is ns manage object? It represents a single object stored in the core data. It is a shape shifter because it can represent any entity. A manage object is associated with an entity description. A manage object is also associated with a managed object context, which tracks changes to the object graph. I have created a IB outlet of the table view, and here is the title. I have set it, and here I am just registering the table view with the name. This name is country cell and identifier is country cell ID. Here you can just check it. This is the country cell ID, class is country cell, identifier is country cell ID. These two levels, this is for country name and it is the name of capital. Here is respective classes, capital level and name level. Again, in my view controller, I have set the view controller as a delegate and data source of the table view again. And here, first thing first, view will appear. In this view will appear section, this code is to populate the table view with the data stored already in the core data. If there is some data, the data will be shown in the table view. And what the code actually are doing, let's explain. Here the super view will appear, is called here, and here we have just created an instance of app delegate. Why? Because there is a persistent container property in the app delegate, because I have already told you that in the creation time I have checked the use core data option, and to access the persistent container property I have created app delegate. Here is the persistent container property in the app delegate section. Okay, this only will be added while you will check use core data option at the time of project creation. This persistent container is also containing a view context. This view context will create a managed context. And what is persistent container? Persistent container consists of a set of objects that facilitates saving and retrieving information from core data. And here we have created a fetch request. Fetch request of type NS managed object. I have already told NS managed object can represent any type of entity. Here the entity name is country. The name will must be matched with the name of this data model. And here the error can be thrown, so I have put my code in the do catch block. Here I am just fetching the request the manage object context property and creating the country list, and I am reloading the table view depending on the country list array. And here name add action, a alert controller is there with the two table view, one table view for country name and one for capital name. This table view are accessed with their respective indexes, and from here the save function is called with the name of country and capital. This save function is doing the all work of saving, and here the cancel action is there and two actions have been added with the controller and it is presenting in this view controller. So simple. And here in the save section again we are just creating a reference of app delegate to access the persistent container, and by this persistent container we are getting the managed context, and again we are getting an entity with the help of NS entity description class and the managed context. And what is NS entity description is doing there? NS entity description links entity definition from data model with an instance of NS managed object at runtime. Here the code is linking. It provides metadata about the object including the name of the entity. Here the name of the entity is country, and the object represents and the names of the attributes and relationship. Here is no relationship there, but two attributes are present there. One is name, another is capital. And here we are setting the value to the NSManageObject instance by the mechanism of KVC. We are setting the name here and the capital for the keys, respectively name and capital. This must be same as the attribute name in our data model. It cannot be different. Okay. And what is KVC? Because every classes that is derived from NSManageObject conforms to the KVC protocol. And KVC is a mechanism by which property can be accessed indirectly by the string. Okay. And while saving a entity to the core data, there is two-step process. First, insert the newly NSManageObject in the NSManageObject context. And second, you have to save to the NSManageObject and make this commit. Okay. And again, I am just saving this by calling the static method to NSManageObject context, and I am just updating the country list by appending the country entity just to reflect to the table view, and I am just again reloading it. And here in the delete action, when the delete button, UI bar button item is clicked, this simple function is executed. We are just getting the app delegate reference, and by this reference, by calling persistent container, we are again getting manage context, and we are getting a fetch request. We are forming a fetch request with fetch request result type on the entity name country. The fetch request is here doing the all things. And what is the fetch request? It is a description of search criteria used to retrieve data from a persistent store. An instance of NS fetch request collect the criteria needed to select and optionally to sort a group of managed object held in a persistent store. A fetch request must contain an instance of NS entity description, what I have told actually already, or an entity name. Here is the name is country, that specify which entity to search. Here the entity is country. It frequently contain any sorting criteria also. And after creating the fetch request, we are just forming a batch delete request with that fetch request. And after getting the batch delete request, we are executing on the manage context. Again, we are linking with that manage context because we have to make the changes to the manage context. And after all, we have called again the save method to the manage context. And again, to update our UI, we will just remove all from the country list array. And again, we are just reloading our table view. And here, pretty simple codes are there. UI table view data source section. The number of rows in the section is equal to the country list count. And I am just getting the country cell by this. And again, we are just getting the country specific to a particular index path of row. And we are again getting the name of country and a name of capital by the KVC method, and assigning to name level and capital level respectively. And here we are doing giving a particular height to the table view cell. That's all. Now I am just running the project. I've already coded all this system because to minimize the time of coding, so that the length of my video will be minimum. It's pretty simple. Here we go. Yeah, this is a country list. No country is there. Here you can add the country. It's my country, India. And the capital is New Delhi. Here again I can add Sri Lanka, neighbor country, Colombo. This is being populated because we have just reloaded the table view at the last 6 time of save function. This is, and the persistency, what is persistency here? If I force kill the app, sorry, let me try. No. Yeah, I have forced kill the app. Again I am launching that app. Here the data is already there, is persist here, and if I stop, it was stopped. Again I relaunch the app. Yeah, my India is there, Sri Lanka is there. I can perform here batch delete by clicking this. Yeah, relaunching the app. I hope no data will be there. Yeah, as expected. Again you can add. New Delhi. Another neighbor country is our Bangladesh, and it is Dhaka, its capital. Nice country. You can check whether it is persist or not. Yeah, fine. And this is coming because the code of view will appear section. We're just fetching from the country and retrieving and reloading our table, populating to the country list. Yeah, is that helpful? Viewer, please do a like. Thank you.